You really can't believe it. BYD actually exported cloud rail trains. Of course, you can't even imagine. Behind this lies the figure of Kirk Group. BYD is really amazing, building cars, mobile phones, and shipbuilding. Now we are starting to manufacture rail transit systems again. On April 28, BYD announced that the first monorail train sold outside of China has been successfully delivered. It will be put into operation on Line 17, also known as the Golden Line of the Sao Paulo Metro in Brazil. The train delivered by BYD this time is a medium capacity tailored for Sao Paulo, intelligent cross-seat monorail system. Equipped with onboard passenger information system, intelligent monitoring system, emergency intercom system, we can provide professional and reliable passenger transportation services. The train is equipped with a fully automated unmanned driving system, can provide more precise operational control. To ensure on-time accuracy, BYD stated that cloud tracks have extremely small turning radii to adapt to the busy streets of the city center. Its streamlined appearance collides with classic colors, adding a touch of futuristic fashion to this city. The vehicle runs smoothly, comfortable ride, humanized design, intelligence to provide passengers with a more comfortable and convenient riding experience. The 17th Golden Line in Sao Paulo has a total length of 17.7 kilometers, connected to multiple subway lines, passing through the densely populated Congonhas Airport. It is an important transportation hub connecting airports with passenger flows from all over the country. In April 2020, BYD and Brazil's Sao Paulo Metro officially signed a contract for the vehicles of Line 17, Signal, contract for specialized core system projects such as turnouts. BYD will serve as the overall solution provider for the system, provide 14 5-car monorail trains for Line 17 in Sao Paulo, Uto-level signal system, turnouts, conductive rail, engineering vehicles, car washing machine, monorail series electromechanical products, including central control systems, as well as engineering integration, installation, debugging, technical services such as training. Recently, a reader posted a picture in the background. Let me interpret it. A blogger named BYD Auto, taking Chanel bags as an example, commented on Made in China and Made in Europe. In my opinion, the above discussion, confusing the audience, extremely confusing. It is necessary to clarify the above discussion, saying a fact, two conclusions. The fact is, the price of a BYD Kin Plus, a small bag lower than Chanel. Two conclusions can be drawn from this. Conclusion 1, Made in China cannot compare to Made in Europe. Conclusion 2, the product gap, not only reflected in technology, more reflected in brand added value. The reason why it is said to be highly confusing is that, because of this statement, using a correct fact, derived an incorrect conclusion and a correct conclusion, truth hides falsehood. It is difficult to distinguish at the moment. The greater confusion lies in, compare BYD with Chanel, the selling price of BYD Kin Plus, a small bag lower than Chanel. This is a fact. But it cannot be inferred that Chinese manufacturing cannot compare to European manufacturing, because these two already belong to different industries. BYD belongs to the modern manufacturing industry, Chanel bags belong to the handicraft industry. The former is produced on a large scale, the latter is scarce in supply. The consumer groups of both, the selling points are also different. This determines the different pricing systems between the two. The cars being assembled in BYD's Hefei factory workshop, simply compare the prices of the two. Obviously, it is incorrect. Draw the conclusion that Chinese manufacturing is not as good as European manufacturing. It's even more of a mix of mistakes. Looking at it from a different perspective, the selling price of BYD Kin Plus, a small bag lower than Chanel. It precisely indicates that BYD is very strong. This is because, modern large-scale industrial manufacturing, it is precisely to improve efficiency, reduce costs. Made in China lowers prices, to supply high-quality and affordable products to the world. This is a benefit for people around the world. Its significance: it is much larger than luxury goods with higher prices. In order to better understand the difference between the two, let's make a either-or hypothesis. If BYD and Chanel, only one can be selected, which one do you think China will choose? The Zhangxi Bureau believes that I should choose BYD. There are 3 reasons. One reason is that BYD's industrial chain is longer. The automotive industry chain is a vast system. Upstream covers steel, oil, chemical industry, etc. The midstream covers vehicle manufacturing. Downstream includes charging stations, exchange station, insurance, maintenance, second-hand car trading, etc. Schematic diagram of the new energy vehicle industry chain. By comparison, the industry chain of a single bag is much simpler. The longer the industrial chain, it means driving more industries, the greater the benefits created. Secondly, BYD creates more job opportunities. Chanel's revenue in 2023 is approximately 130 billion yuan. The global workforce exceeds 32,000 people. BYD's revenue in 2023 is approximately 600 billion yuan. There are over 700,000 employees worldwide. Comparison of revenue and number of employees between BYD and Chanel in 2023. Roughly compare, BYD's revenue is 5 times that of Chanel. The number of employees is 20 times that of the latter. Especially, BYD only has R&D personnel. It exceeds 100,000 people. This means that BYD creates more job opportunities. Employment is the foundation of people's livelihood. This is too important for China. Thirdly, BYD has a higher technological content. The handicraft industry to which Chanel bags belong, emphasis is placed on tradition. Retro automobiles are a high-tech industry. Continuous iteration of technology can drive industry development. The technological content of the two is different. The industrial support for a country also varies. Here, I still need to emphasize one thing: BYD and Chanel, belonging to different industries. This comparison should not have been made. What Zheng Jiju wants to express is, Chanel, as a globally renowned luxury brand, it is a respected enterprise. However, made in France, represented by Chanel, being trapped in the dilemma of hollowing out the added value of France's manufacturing industry, from $325.397 billion in 2008, dropped to $262.63 billion in 2021. This is exactly what China should be vigilant about. For a latecomer populous country like China, the fundamental framework of the industry, it should be a company like BYD, not Chanel. Furthermore, Chinese enterprises, while delving into technology, we have not given up on creating brand added value. For example, BYD's looking up U8. The selling price is over 1 million yuan. The monthly sales exceed 1,000 units. Technology and brand. Chinese companies do not make choices. I want everything. We are committed to manufacturing in China. There should be a clear understanding. Have enough confidence. According to Bloomberg, before facing more restrictive measures, Chinese car companies such as BYD or decide to abandon the US market. Instead, focus on the Latin American market. BYD's executive vice president Li Qi made it clear in an interview that we currently do not intend to enter the US market, despite the attractiveness of this market, but its complexity cannot be ignored. BYD actually doesn't want to enter the United States, but the United States does not allow it to enter. Chinese car exports to the United States have a 25% penalty tariff and a 2.5% tariff. The comprehensive tax rate is 27.5, plus customs duties and shipping costs. Domestic cars are sold in the United States. It is much more expensive than other markets. But even so, there is still a price advantage. Therefore, this is not the key. The key is, the U.S. access policy directly excludes Chinese cars. Biden will strictly review China's imports of new energy vehicles. Even the import of components needs to be reviewed. I can't even get in if I want to. The United States also planned to develop new energy vehicles earlier. But because the domestic power of gasoline vehicles in the United States is very large, China's new energy has developed too fast again, causing concern in the United States. The trade protection in the United States also tends to protect these car companies. Ford dominates the U.S. market. Universal, Toyota, Modern, Honda, these traditional car companies. If BYD, which has advantages throughout the entire industry chain, is brought in, what will happen? They dare not imagine. Before Yellen came to Guangzhou, criticizing China's overcapacity in Georgia, it means China's new energy. Electric vehicles. Energy storage batteries are sold too cheaply in international trade, compressing the survival space of American enterprises. But in fact, Americans do not allow Chinese car companies to enter. In fact, it actually deprives oneself of the opportunity to establish an industrial chain. For the United States, if we want to truly protect its own automotive industry, it doesn't really matter who the car is sold to. The important thing is where to build the factory. The biggest loss for the United States is not being able to capture large manufacturers of new energy vehicles. China's electric vehicle competitiveness. How did the industrial chain develop? The core lies in the introduction of Tesla, the catfish. When Tesla was first introduced, Shanghai sends money to Tesla with a loan of 3.5 billion yuan, land delivery obtaining 860,000 square meters of land near the port at a low price of 937 million yuan, the construction of a large number of supporting factories and supply chains, rescue Tesla from insufficient production capacity. Therefore, China has added the weakest link in the electric vehicle industry chain: vehicle manufacturing. The arrival of Tesla, the catfish effect stirring up the domestic market, drive domestic new energy vehicle companies and a large number of supply chain manufacturers to enter the market competition. The development of Tesla's entire new energy vehicle industry chain, including powertrain systems, electric drive system, charging, chassis, vehicle body, central control, interior, other components, external decorations, etc. There are over 130 suppliers supplying Tesla in total, and Chinese companies account for half. Today, with BYD's current size, for new energy vehicles in the United States, isn't it another Tesla that can help the United States establish its industrial chain? The United States actively refuses Chinese giants to build factories in the United States. These big factories will go to other places. The supply chain needs to be driven by leading enterprises. Missing BYD, the United States has actually lost an opportunity to establish an electric vehicle supply chain. Apple started making cars 10 years ago, burned 250 billion yuan. As a result, I stopped playing, because ultimately, the U.S. supply chain is unable to support Apple's high quality and cost control of automobiles. Requirements for key component supply and other aspects. To build electric vehicles, it's impossible to build on the beach. There should be a series of layout of upstream and downstream links in the industrial chain and factory layout, but none of these are available in the United States. Not in the United States. The most practical path is actually to learn from China, introduce giants with an open mindset, setting up factories locally, improve the local supply chain. Who knew that the United States couldn't beat it? Just close the door to isolate oneself from the outside world. I won't let you in. Recently, developed countries such as the United States have formed a tacit understanding, abandoning the strategy of full electrification. Their idea may be, they don't follow. It is difficult for electric vehicles to form a global trend. China can only play on its own, but the mistake with this idea is that, firstly, industry is either not advancing or retreating as local industries weaken. So the U.S. battery production industry lacks orders, development will be hindered, lack of competitiveness internationally. Secondly, close the door. What is protected may not necessarily be domestic gasoline car companies in the United States. Because the domestic market in the United States is being dominated by Toyota, Honda, Kia and other manufacturers are under attack. In 2023, Hyundai has sold 1.65 million vehicles in the United States. Kia Motors also sold 780,000 units in the United States, more than 2.43 million vehicles in total. Toyota is already the largest car manufacturer in the U.S. market. In 2023, Toyota sold 2.248 million vehicles in the United States, a year-on-year increase of 6.6%. Toyota has also surpassed and defeated General Motors in the United States. Ford sales ranked first in the United States. In addition, Honda is also experiencing rapid growth in the U.S. market. Therefore, the United States needs to protect the fuel vehicle industry chain and the interests of workers. In fact, the first thing to protect is the interests of Japanese and Korean cars in the United States. Thirdly, American consumers also have a demand for new energy vehicles, if there are no more local brands to choose from. So importing has become the only option. However, they are not imported from mainland China, but imported from Latin America. Although the infrastructure in Latin America is insufficient, but they have a great demand for cars, and with the vast export market of the United States, the construction of industries related to new energy is currently shifting to Latin America. At present, Chinese cars have become Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, important import categories from multiple Latin American countries such as Chile, the top 10 countries in terms of domestic car exports in January 2024, Brazil, Mexico, Chile's 3 Latin American countries. In 2023, China exported 334,000 Mexican cars.